Hello friends, welcome to Software Testing Interview Question and Answer Part 1. Though you are working for any automation testing, it can be Selenium WebDriver with Java, it can be Selenium WebDriver with Python, API testing, performance testing or DevOps part. Still, testers need to learn the basic software testing concept along with software testing life cycles, principle, techniques and different estimation technique, right? How to plan to run the project successfully, right? Also, he need to learn the important agile methodology concept. So from now onward, I will try to create more question and answer from the following topic, right? Where it will help you to clear the interview, right? In case the interviewer asks this kind of questions. Though you are an automation tester, but still you need to clear your understanding with the software testing's basic life cycle. Hope you are enjoying my YouTube videos posted so far in my YouTube channel. In case you are new to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe my channel and do not forget to provide your comment, suggestion or input so that based on your comment or suggestion I will try to improve my videos in the upcoming session. So in this video I will try to provide 25 question answer from software testings, both from functionals and the manual testing part. So what is software testings? Okay, so before that you need to learn what is software all about. So software is an application on a product, right? Why we need to perform the testings? So in any of the IT organization, right, you could find different teams, right? Development team, business analyst team, right? Data testing team, software testing team, right? Along with the maintenance team. So developer develop the product or software, business analyst finalize the requirement, testing team certify the product, right? Whereas support team, they used to provide ongoing support when the product went to live or in the real time. Okay, so why testing is required? Because in case developer is developing the product and that product is going to the real time implementation without testing or certified, right? So in the real time lot of problem can happen and it can ruins customer revenue, right, or reputation. So that is the reason we should test before going into the production so live to identify the defect as much as possible. So software testing is the process of evaluating and verifying that a software product or application does what is expected to do. Means it should match with the customer expectation. In case there is a deviation, we should log as a defect and those defects should be fixed by the developer. It involves execution of software system or component using manual or automated tools to evaluate one or more properties of the interest. The purpose of software testing is to identify errors, gap or missing requirement in respect to the actual requirement. The major benefit of testings include preventing bug, reducing development cost, improving overall performance and avoiding any real-time issue. In simple terms, software testing means verification of the application under test, which is nothing but the AUT. So once the team is completed the development, it will be handed over to the testing team, software testing team, right? So there can be manual or functional testing team, there can be automation testing team, but their objective is to identify the deviation with the requirement. In case any deviation is found and this is valid, they will raise as a defect in any of the defect management tool. It can be Jira, it can be ALM, it can be Azure DevOps, it can be Rally, or in case it's a small project, it can be tracked in Excel, right? Once the defect is logged, it will go with the defect lifecycle process. So first the defect is logged, it will be with the new status, then the defect will be assigned to the development team, the developer will identify the defect, In case defect is valid, they will fix the defect. In case it is not valid, they will reject the defect and they will revert back to the tester notifying that this is not a valid defect. In case it is a valid, they will fix the defect. One fix is done, they will again revert back to the tester to retest it. Once the retest is successfully, tester can close the defect, otherwise again they can reopen the defect, right? So defect is open and until the close defect is closed, it will continue the same life cycle, right? So before the product goes to the real-time environment or the production environment, right? Before the deployment happens, actual deployment happens, the main objective should be that all the critical high or medium defects should get fixed. In case some of the defect is open, but the development team should create some workaround so that, right, in the production environment, in the real-time environment, it should not create any problem. What are the important types of software testing exist? There are huge lot of testing is there in the for certifying a application or a product. So these are the main testing which is performed by the, right, the testing team along with automation testing, right? Acceptance testing, unit testing, sanity testing, functional testing, integration, regression, performance, stress, usability and GUI. Okay, so definitely I will try to elaborate each and every type of testings in the upcoming slides. So what is error, fault and failures? Error is a human action that produces an incorrect result. Suppose say someone told you to write 5 in the paper, right? But you written 6. So this is an error. Either you intentionally did it or you are not able to hear it properly. Fault is the manifestation of an error in software or in implementation. Suppose you hear 5, right? And suppose instead of 5 you hear 6 and then you have tried to implement it, right? So it will also be fault in the system based on that. And because of that, system will be in failure status. So whatever it's supposed to work, it will not work. So failure is the deviation of the software from its expected delivery of or service. Any human being can make an error or mistake which produces a defect which is nothing but a fault in the code or in the software application or in the product. If a defect in code is executed, the system will definitely fail to do what it should do, causing a failure. So that is the synchronization of these three terms: error, fault and failure, right? Because of error, fault is getting generated, and because of fault, it causes failure. How error can occur in the system? So there are lot of kind of condition is there, right, for which there can be error occur in the systems or product or in the application, right? Sometimes human beings are all prone to making simple human error. Just mentioned, right, they are not able to hear it properly, or they are intentionally doing it, or they are doing in thinking in other way. So it can be human error. Sometimes communication is not proper or requirement is not in proper shape. Okay. Sometimes, right, whenever in the calls, right, the communication was, sometimes it was told like 5, sometimes it was told 6. So like developer was confused, right, what to do the correct thing, but they did not clarify it. And sometimes requirement is not properly documented, right? Then third one is working under pressure such as tight deadlines, budget restriction on conflicting priorities, right? Sometimes suppose say one project need to be completed, everything, testing, development, everything should be completed in 3 months time, but originally it should take 6 months time. So due to time shortage or tight deadline, right, there can be high chances of some error, or sometimes proper budget is not there, right? Or sometimes the same team is working multiple priority work, right? So they are not able to concentrate on the real priority, right? Then the complexity of technology or infrastructure. Sometimes new technology comes into the market, right? And proper infrastructure is not available to handle those technology. and also proper resources not available who can work in the technology. So that is another problem where error can occur. Poorly documented code without proper review. Sometimes few developer who does not have proper knowledge, they are developing the product, right? So code is not proper, and once any code is developed, right, it should be reviewed by the peers developer or as the lead or the development manager, and sometimes it was not followed properly due to some tight deadline or due to some proper budget or due to some other priority work. So that can be a problem for the error, and due to the environment condition. So whatever environment they are working, right, so this is the environment is not stable enough, so some outage is there every day, okay, they are not able to concentrate on the environment. So unless there is a proper environment which is stable condition, there can be high chances that some error can be triggered during the development phase. What is unit testing? So for the next few questions I will try to cover the different concept of different kind of testings available in the software testings principles or life cycle. So whenever the development team is, right, doing the development of the product for each and every unit, so they should do some unit testing. So unit testing is nothing but to validate that each software unit perform as expected. Mostly it is done by the development team. So a unit is nothing but the smallest testable component of an application. Fixing defect at the unit level save cost, effort and time. In case any defect is discovered early and fixed early, it will save cost, effort and time. So that is the reason every developer, whenever they are developing a component or unit, they should test whether this is performing working properly based on the basic requirement. Then it should be integrated and it should be handed over to the testing team or the quality assurance team for the further testing. Functional testing. So in the testing terminology, there are two type of testing primarily available. One is functional testing, one is non-functional testing. In the functional testing, system testing, integration testing, smoke testing, regression testing, everything will become, right? In the non-functional testing, which is not related to the functional behavior or organizational behavior, so kind of performance testing, test testing, security testing, everything we comes under the functional testing. So functional testing is nothing but checking functions by emulating business scenario based on functional requirement, right? So based on the functional requirement, we are performing testings to certify the product is working as per the expectation. So black box testing is a common way to certify those functions or to verify the functions. The purpose of functional testing is to test each function of the software application by providing appropriate input, verifying the output against the functional requirement. This testing checks user interface or UI or GUI, APIs, database, security, client server communication and other functionality of the application under test or AUT. The testing can be done either manually or with the help of automation. Automation can be done with the help of any relevant automation tool and the relevant programming language and relevant framework. What is regression testing? So whenever we are designing some system testing, right, or system test case or integration test case or smoke test case, so as and when there is a new deployment is coming or there is a change in the software, we need to certify that this is not breaking the existing functionality. So regression testing should be performed. So regression testing is nothing but the rerun of test with the intention of checking that what was working before is still working. Example, modification have not caused unintended adverse side defects in the unchanged software. So whatever was working previously, it does not break because of some change. Okay. So regression testing is performed whenever the software or its environment is changed, or when a major modification to the software is done, then the entire regression pack is likely to be run. In case of minor changes, test manager must be selective in identifying regression tests or should. Regression tests are good candidate for test automation as well. Then integration testing, right? once unit testing is done or system testing is done for the each and every component or unit, then all units should be integrated, right? Then we need to verify that all the data is flowing from one unit to another unit without any error or issues. So integration testing is nothing but it is performed to ensure that software component or functions operate together. The objective is to take unit tested component and build a program structure that has been dictated by design. Integration testing is testing in which a group of components is combined to produce the output. There are 4 types of integration testing available, primarily top down, bottom up, sandwich and big bang. Acceptance testing. Once all kind of testing is done and whatever defect has been identified, all are fixed, right? Then it should certify before, right, the end user uses it. So acceptance testing is verifying whether the system as a whole works as intended. Formal testing conducted to determine whether or not a system satisfied its acceptance criteria and to enable the customer to determine whether or not to accept the system or not. Whether customer is happy with the product, whether they are able to use it in the production environment or the real-time environment or not. It is usually performed by the customer. It is the final stage of testing before it's deployed in the production environment or the real-time environment. What is performance testing? So this is one of the non-functional testing, right, through which we try to perform, right, under different workload. We used to check software whether performing properly under different workload or not. Functional testing conducted to evaluate the compliance of a system or component with specified performance requirement. It is used to test the speed and effectiveness of the program. It is called load testing. User can verify what is the performance of the system in given load. Is usually conducted by the performance testing engineer. So suppose say today you already provided an application, right? In case your load is 5 user and application is working fine. In case load is 10, application is still working fine. But in case the load of the user at the concurrent time is more than 20, right? So the performance of the system can deviate a lot. So that's why we need to perform the load variation, right? So this is nothing but to check the overall performance of the application of the system by varying the load, overall load, user load. What is stress testing? So this is also in conjunction with performance testing only, right? The testing how much strain the system can take before it fails. Every system should have some elasticity, right? In case the capacity of the system is suppose say 20 and in case we are giving user as 30, so at a certain point, right, system can break and it will not work properly, right? So considered to be a type of, it is considered a non-functional testing as well. In this stress testing, user give unfavorable condition to the system and check how they perform in those conditions. Testing technique which evaluate a system or component at or beyond the limit of its specified requirement is usually conducted by the performance testing engineer to check, right, how much stress the application or the product or the system can take before it's going to fail. What is usability testing? Right, validating how well a customer can use a system or web application to complete a task. Testing techniques which verifies the ease with each user can learn to operate, prepare input for and interpret output of for a system of a component. It is usually performed by the end user to check whether they are able to perform based on their requirement, how they can operate the system or application. What is alpha testing? So whenever all the type of testings will be completed, right? So one final round of testings will be there in the developer side before it handing it over to the client. So that type of testing is called alpha testing. So this is a type of validation testing. It is a type of acceptance testing which is done before the product is released to the customer. Alpha testing is a type of software testing performed to identify bugs before releasing the software product to the real user or public. It is a type of acceptance testing. The main objective of alpha testing is to refine the software product by finding and fixing the bug that were not discovered through previous test. It is typically done by the QA peoples. So before handing it over to the customer for their beta testing, we will be doing the final kind of testings in our developer side to check there is no new more bug. Whereas beta testing is conducted at one or more customer side by the end user of the software. This version is released for a limited number of users for testing in a real-time environment. It is the final testings before releasing application for the commercial purpose. So, whereas alpha testing is done in the development end and beta testing will be performed by the end user in the customer end to check any kind of deviation is there or not based on the requirement. In case anything is there, it will be fixed. Otherwise, it will go into the release, right? It will go into the proper production environment for the commercial purpose. What is smoke testing? So it is done to make sure that software under testing is ready or stable for further testing. It is called as smoke test as the testing and initial pass is done to check if did not catch the fire or smoke in the initial switch on. So whenever development testing is completing the development, right, and they are giving the product to the testing team. So instead of starting the complete testing team will run few important critical scenario to check whether any kind of showstopper or critical bug is there or not. In case anything is there, right, any critical bug is showstopper is there, they will not start the exhaustive testing. Instead of that, they will notify the developer so that they can fix it, and after that they can give the new build. So whenever a new build is provided by the development team, then the software testing team validates the build and ensure that there is no major issue exists. If the testers find that the major critical functionality is broken down at the initial stage itself, then testing team can reject the build and inform accordingly to the development team. So this is the smoke testing. Whereas sanity testing is done to determine if a new software version is performing well enough to accept it for a major testing effort or not. Suppose you are already doing some testing, right? And you are, the particular version is working fine without any major issue. After that, the development team done some fixes, and again they are giving a new version, right? So whenever they are giving a new version, definitely will be doing some high level kind of testing, right? Before the proper testing started. So sanity testing is done to determine if a new software version is performing well enough to accept it for major testing effort or not. If an application is crashing for the initial use, then the system is not stable enough for further testing. Hence a build or an application is assigned to fix it. So you can see here sanity and the smoke testing, though the some difference is there, but like this the concept should be kind of similar. So we should check with the new product or any new version whether it's properly working or not before starting the exhaustive testing. In case it is not working, we should let developer know that the criticals or high or severe bug is there before the complete detailed state level testing is started, so that it can reduce the overall testing effort. What is security testing? So why we need to perform a security testing? Nowadays everything is we are doing through internet only, right? We are logging into the application, we are booking something, we are booking the payment, but that URL or software, right, should be right secured enough. Otherwise it can be trouble for the customer as well as the user who are using it, right? The data, it should be, otherwise data, there is a chances that data can be leaked. So security testing is a process to determine that an information system protects data and maintains functionality as intended. It can be performed by testing teams or by specialized security testing companies as well. So security testing is done to check how the software or application or website is secure from internal and external threats. The testing includes how much software is secured from the malicious program, viruses, and how secure and strong the authorization and the authentic process are. It also checks how software behaves for any hacker's attack and malicious program, and how software is maintained for data security after such a hacker attack. So no one can guarantee that no one can attack a particular application or software or an URL or a website, right? But from the customer side, they need to make sure that easily from the there cannot be an external or internal threat, right? The hackers cannot attack you easily, right? From the authorization purposes or some malfunction, some viruses cannot be implemented easily. So that is the reason they should perform the security testing to make sure that, right, the application or the website is secured enough for the user to use it. What is GUI or graphical user interface testing? The process of testing a product that uses a graphical user interface to ensure it meets the written specification. The expected GUI of the application is mentioned in the detailed design document and the GUI mockup screen. The GUI testing includes the size of the button and the input field present on the screen, alignment of text, tables, and the content in the tables. So it's a basically look and feel testing. Whenever you are navigating to applications or an website, right, from the look and feel perspective, you should see that all the alignment, left alignment, right alignment, top alignment, button alignment, buttons, color, right, input field, text, everything is in proper shape or not. It also validates the menu of the application, whether the all menu are present or not, whether the drop downs value are correctly matched or not, right? And after selecting the menu, whether the sub menu is opening properly or not, right? So it also validates the menu of the application after selecting different menu and the menu item. It validates that the page does not fluctuate and the alignment remains same after hovering the mouse on the menu or sub menu. So in case you are hovering the menu, plates should not fluctuate, right? So that is the basically kind of testings we should perform as part of UI or GUI testing. So it is specifically for the page, right? The page look and feel wise, it is good. Alignment issue, there is no issue. Text field button is working properly, right? The shape, size, color, everything is fine. The menu and sub menu, we are able to see it properly. That is the main objective of GUI testing. What is exploratory testing? Exploratory software testing is done on the fly and relies on tester to think beyond the limits of the scripted test. Exploratory tester design a test, execute it immediately, observe the result, and use the result to design the next test. Exploratory testing allows user to think outside the box and come up with use cases that might not be covered in a test case. For example, user might perform one test and then ask himself, what if he tried this? What if he did not do that? Combining exploratory testing with mandated scripted testing can keep user test effort strong and reduce the risk of defect in the releases. So suppose from the customer, development and QA team already got the requirement and they have tried to convert the requirement to the test cases and they have executed all the test cases either through manual execution or through automated execution, and they have discovered some test case. But as every tester is having some experience in the domain of the particular technology, so they know that some of the area more defect can come, or based on the defect discovery they try to figure out some scenario which is not written in the requirement, but they think that in case they run some scenario based on the particular combination, sometimes something can broken, right? So it is basically based on the tester's overall experience in that particular domain or particular skill set or in the technology, where nothing is documented properly, but they can try to do some kind of additional testing on some critical functionality, right? So in case they are finding some defect, they will try to do more repetitive testing, and once the testing is done, they will design the test case, and definitely they will also report it. So that is the exploratory testing. What is ad hoc testing? So testing performed without planning and documentation, right? Sometimes for a particular application, customer did not given much requirement, so they let the testing team know. So whatever testing from your side can perform, just try to do that based on an experience. Okay, so testing performed without planning and documentation. The tester tries to break the system by randomly trying the system's functionality. Ad hoc testing are done after formal testing is performed on the application. Sometime also we can do ad hoc testing once all the type of testing is completed to check there is system is not breaking based on some permutation combination, based on some boundary value changes like that. So ad hoc method are the least formal type of testing and it is not a structured approach. Hence, defects found using this method are hard to replicate as there is no test case aligned for this scenario. Testing is carried out with the knowledge of the tester about the application and the tester tests randomly without following the specification or requirement. Hence, the success of ad hoc testing depends upon the capability and the overall experience of the tester who carries out the testing. The tester has to find defect without any proper planning and documentation solely based on tester intuitions. What is black box testing? So whenever we are talking about the functional non-functional testing, right? So there are primarily two kind of testing is available. One is black box and one is white box. So black box testing is a method of software testing that verifies the functionality of an application without having specific knowledge of the application code or internal structure. So if you perform in black box testing, so the tester do not need the much knowledge in that coding standard, right? But you will from the GUI level or from the application level you will try to perform, right? So this method of test can be applied virtually to every level of software testing, either unit testing, integration testing, system testing or acceptance testing. It is sometimes referred to as specification based testing. Independent testing team usually perform this type of testing during the software testing life cycle. What is parallel testing? So sometimes, right, sometimes say today there is a version called, suppose 5 is there, tomorrow you need to upgrade it to some other version, 5.1, 5.2 or maybe 6, right? So definitely for the new version you are doing a lot of testing, but still with the same data combination you need to perform some testing that without deviating any data, right? The object end result is also not deviating in the old and the new version, right? So parallel testing is a testing technique in which the same inputs are entered into different versions of the application and reporting the anomalies. It verifies if the data format between two versions have changed or not. In parallel testing, testers run two or more versions of software concurrently with the same input or test method. Sometimes in the parallel testing, same set of test case we need to run in different browser and operating system combination. Suppose same set test case we need to run in Chrome browser, iBrowser, Firefox browser, Opera browser, and also same test case we need to run in Mac machine, Windows machine or Linux machine, right? So alternately, a single version of the software can be run simultaneously across multiple devices or desktop or OS browser combination. What is recovery testing? So sometimes, suppose say based on certain load, right? So there can be some breakdown or failure, right? But once the failure is there also, still we want to check, right? From that failure how much time is taking to recover to the original state, right? So recovery testing can be described as a type of software testing where the non-functional testing process are applied to the software application. The process is carried out to verify the software response or system its ability to restore after a crash or hardware failure or other related problem. It is the process of forced failure made to the software to check the recovery process is successful or not. So in case there is a software failure, hardware failure, crash or other system related problem, we need to check how fast it is going back to the original state. So recovery testing is not a reliability testing that is made to identify the accurate point of failure initiated. Recovery testing is done under control condition by simulating failure holes and identify the real cause of failure. This testing aims to ensure that any data is not affected, lost or corrupted under service level agreement. So though your system breaks, but right, it should not affect or lost or any data, right? You should prevent the data loss. So white box testing. So in the black box testing, you know there is no requirement of coding language. They can do the unit testing, integration testing, right, usability testing. Whereas and black box testing is primarily done by the QA. But whereas white box testing, some sort of coding language is required. So actually it is primarily done by the developer side before the application or the system handing over to the testing team. So white box testing, also known as clear box testing, glass box testing or structural testing, is a method of software testing that tests internal structure or working of an application. In white box testing, an internal perspective of the system as well as programming skill are used to design test cases. Testing technique based on the knowledge of the internal logic of an application's code and include test like coverage of code statement, branches, path and condition. That is the reason it mostly performed by a software developer who are comfortable in coding. What are the principles of testing? So testing, there are 7 basic principles of testing. Whenever if you want to start a testing or you are performing some testing, you should follow the 7 principles. One is all the tests should meet the customer requirement, right? So whatever requirement is customer is giving, so you need to write the test scenario and then the test case and you need to execute it. You should not deviate, right, anything which is not mentioned in the customer's requirement. Software testing should be performed by an independent third party. In case developer is performing the testing, so there can be high chances of missing some defect. That is the reason it should be performed by separate independent third party, right? Sometimes same organization do not perform the testing, right? So several other organizations used to test that application, so that right they will be applying some independent thought process, and that can be high chances that most of the defect can be discovered in the testing life cycle. Exhaustive testing is not possible as we need the optimal amount of testing based on the risk assessment of the application. Sometimes due to the some timeline or other factors, maybe a complete exhaustive testing will not be possible, so that we will identify the critical area, right, based on the application severity and complexity, and we will be going through the risk based testing. All the testing to be conducted should be planned before implementing it, right? So before product went to go live, right, all the testings, right, functional testing, integration testing, right, kind of acceptance testing, unit testing, everything should be performed before it right, went to live, and all the critical and major defects should be fixed. It follows the Pareto rule, 80-20 rule, which states that 80% of error come from 20% of the program component. Okay, so it already established that most of the defect come from the 20% of the area, right? So we should follow that rule, right? We should identify the critical area based on the business severity, right? Based on the business critical importance, and from those area, right, most of the defect will come, right? So for those area we need to focus more testing, right? Start testing with small part and extend it to large part, right? So testing should start with the unit approach, and so once all the unit is certified properly, then we can integrate all the unit, right, and as a whole we can test the product. Early testing saves times and money. So nowadays, right, previously there was a method was waterfall. So after development was completed, testing teams used to start their testing, but nowadays it's agile methodology using, right? So testing and development is going in parallel. So in case testing is starting early, so from the requirement to like defect, so we can identify the defect very early, and in case we are identifying the defect early, it will save time and money both. Okay, so that's all 25 question and answer from the software testing as of today. I will create more videos where I will try to create more question and answer from the software testing life cycle principles, methodology, like that. Okay, thank you.